Welcome to Private Banking Strategies Podcast with Vance, Lowe, and Seth Hicks, your secret weapon to protect your assets and never have to start over financially again. Vance and Seth help high net worth individuals, families, business owners, and investors structure an asset-protected, tax-free fortress for their families. Learn how to keep what you earn and use the velocity of money to create your own private banking system. Join us on this journey as we explore the secret strategies of the rich and political elite and help you take total control of your financial security. Now, on to the show.
Hello, and welcome to Private Banking Strategies with Vance, Lowe, and Seth Hicks. Vance, how are you?
I'm doing great. A little cold outside today, but I'm ready to rock.
Awesome. Well, today we're going to talk about something that we often get questions and clients want to dig into. How does the private family bank actually work? How do we capture the philosophy, the history, the structural components, and then implement this plan? Where do we get this? I often talk to people about wrestling or jujitsu. The first day that you come in and you want to be a wrestler or a jujitsu guy, you're in for some hard days, and you're not going to know everything. You're just learning the basics. And with the private family bank and the structures that we use, it's not that you're going to have hard days. It's that you have to get repetition and you have to understand the concepts and then begin to implement them. So let's touch on that, Vance, and talk a little bit about how this private bank actually works and how clients have these light bulb moments where they begin to really utilize the strategies and the flow.
As I'm thinking about that, and as you're talking about that, Seth, I look and wonder sometime in this fast-paced lifestyle that we've all become accustomed to, the want it now generation, we have a strategy here that rivals that type of thinking on a reverse process. This is long-term thinking. And the light bulbs that come on, we have clients of all different stages. And once they start realizing that, hey, this is bigger than me, this is something that I want to put together and create an advantage for my posterity, for the people that come in after me. How do we put something together that separates us, makes us more independent, more private, and less owing to government taxes? I think the world is changing so fast right now. The invention of AI and this third module that comes out, it actually scares me when you think that programs can self-regulate themselves and rewrite better stuff. It's amazing. In the family, there's usually a patriarchal order. The oldest, kind of lead the family, and it works on down through. So what can we do to set up something that is meaningful, something that would be independent, something that would help families be able to finance their way through life without having to divulge so much information to banks, to lending companies, and to government? So that's what I think about now that I've been doing the family banking for so many years, and the family legacy and the flow of money.
One of the fundamental things that I think happens over and over is, even if you've had policies in place for multiple years and the premiums come due or things come due where you're cycling money back into the bank, the first fundamental thing you have to understand is that the payments into the life insurance contracts and policies, they are not a cost. It is not an expense. It is not a, oh no, where do I come up with this money? It is not a, oh no, here's another cost. That is not how these strategies work, where there's no surprises. And the money into the policies is a capital deposit, just like capital in a bank that's used for lending. That is like rule number one in the philosophy mindset that people have to get and understand.
You see, Seth, one of the things that is counterproductive to learning about the structure is how we're already pre-programmed, how we already think we know about money, everything there is to know about money. and what the proper thing is to do in each case. And folks, if you listen to our prior podcast, we debunked that myth because we don't know. We really don't even have a clue how money actually really works. And setting up this strategy, people learn it. Oh, this is how money flows. This is how things work. Because just like you pointed out, oh, life insurance, that's an expense. That's pre-programming. We listen in anything to, the Dave Ramsey, Susie Orman type deal. We all have, a philosophy, whether that's good, bad, or indifference. We're talking about banking contracts and the way we used to bank before our nation even had banks. That's what we're talking about. People did know how money flowed. They do know how money works. And we want to reset that up and re-educate people. So if you're willing to learn, if you will get out of your life what Nelson calls the arrival syndrome, it's something that we think we know when we don't. Been there, done that, heard about this, and we rat hole information because information comes at us so fast that we have to pick and choose. Well, here's something, folks, you need to slow down a little bit. If you'll learn it, you will not look back. You will go forward with this because there isn't anything out there in America or even in the world today like the family banking strategy. It is so easy. It is so encompassed, so private that you could be shoulder to shoulder to a family running this strategy with multi-millions of dollars and never know it. So people need to understand that the flow of money, how it works, is different than what they think. Nelson Nash, when he was training us years ago, it's not an expense, it's capitalizing. You are capitalizing money. You're starting your own companies, you're starting your own branches, and there are startup delays. One of the things that we promise our clients is that we'll make these contracts go over 100% efficiency as fast as possible. And our clients all the time, I just talked to one this morning. You mean if I pay the premium in year 5 that the cash value will grow by more than that this year? Yeah, by about 110%. So they don't realize that it really isn't an expense. And at some point in time, they're making money on it. It just never cost them a dime to begin with.
And where the real power comes in is in the curve beyond year 5 to years 6, 7, 8, into the 20s, into the 30s. And if you start a policy on a child and they have 75 years of compounding growth, I mean, it's staggering. And so that is a part of the system, like you said.
It is.
Yeah.
It trains people to get into long-term strategy. I'm afraid to say and ask because it's been a long time since I was doing the financial planning and the money management for folks, but long-term doesn't even start until 5-year distance. And that's where Nelson Nash, he literally made all of his clients wait 5 years, pay premiums, get it in there, build up your cash for 5 years. And then we'll talk about the banking strategy. Everything is about the 5th year and on before he really introduces the strategy to them. So he gets people used to capitalizing money, saving up money, getting ready for it to go to work. And then, holy cow, folks, as you understand this, it explodes. We're talking about exponential compounding. People wonder what that is. It's a big word. Einstein, the eighth wonder of the world, compound interest. Well, how would you like to compound your own private investments in tax advantage areas every 2.5 to 5 years? When we've got our money working for us, we're making the interest and we're making the profit and we get the money back. Look what can happen. Those are 3 items that nobody's doing. Anyone listening to this that is new, check it. How much money do you get back after you spend it? You don't. You have to go to work. You have to re-earn it. That's not the way banks work. That's not banking. They always get the money back. And if we're never supposed to spend principal and we show you how to get back 100% of your monthly expenses every single month, now you've got several avenues and angles of having things come into your life, money coming back to work for you that you didn't even imagine you could do. And then all of a sudden, as your lights come on, as these people, the light bulbs come on, this really can work. The first 5 years, how much can I amass in this first 5 years? Because, folks, it will double every 5 years after that. If you set your habits, you put the things together, and we go forward. It's worked for me. I'm living proof. I'm probably one of the most complicated. I have more, I've got companies, I've got contracts, I've got all kinds of things working for me now in this strategy, and had it tested severely this last year, and it works. Without it, I couldn't have weathered some of the things that, has come along in life. So there's so many things to discover, Seth. It's almost hard to start, but we've got to get down into it, I think. We've told you some of the advantages. Maybe we tell you a little bit about what a family does in a family bank.
Absolutely. That's a great idea. So we'll move from the core principle that premiums and money paid in policy loans and the cycle of banking is not a cost, it is a capitalization in a banking business. And when you have that mindset, you see things that come along as opportunities, proper leveraged risk, perhaps in real estate or some other type of cash flowing business. And that's where we begin to have the multiple touches with $1 in multiple places. It funds your policy, it grows interrupted and tax-free system, gives you liquidity to take advantage of other opportunities. It builds legacy for the next generation, gives you leverage into other financing if you're going to use other third-party financing. There is no other investment that I know of on earth that will check all those boxes.
Did that story feel like it was about you? Do you feel like you are generating a lot of revenue but are not moving forward as fast as you would like? Do you feel you should be making more progress toward your financial goals? Do you feel stuck? Let us help you get unstuck. Are you ready to take action and get your own private bank? Please visit us at www.privatebankingstrategies.com.
One of the most exciting things, it keeps me coming back to the table, it keeps me wanting to teach and help and share, is that discovering the banking equation. It has nothing to do with these contracts. It really doesn't. The philosophy and understanding about the banking equation, Nelson always says the banking equation. Every family should have and own and employ their own banking equation, their banking strategy. It wasn't set up to give that away the way banking is today, because everything gets corrupt. Everyone wants more advantage. By having it in your own system, you can look at way back when our country was first organized, families would be out in the wilderness. They didn't have the sophistication we've got today, but they survived, they grew, they prospered, they were able to do and move forward and have wonderful, beautiful lives. Those who employed it, there's always going to be the people who choose not to. We have to decide who we are. And I classify people and personalities into three categories. There's one category, people who just make things happen. They become business owners, CEOs. They're the leaders of the community, stuff like that. I'm not talking about politicians. I'm talking about successful people, the doers. They actually make things happen. And then there are the group of people who are ever learning, always watching things happen. They're studying it out. I wonder what that really does, but they're never, ever pulling the trigger, so to speak. They're always, I wonder, if it'll work this way. Before I do something, I want to learn all about it, and the opportunity passes them by. And so there's that group, that middle group, ever searching, but never really finding or executing. And then there's the last, I have to laugh at the last group of people. This group of people wonder what the heck happened. It's the group of people that they'll go to work, they'll take a paycheck. All they care about is being able to go home, open a can of beer, and watch the game. And they're happy. They don't care. They're just working, doing their own thing. We're interested in the people who want to make things happen. You have to understand that the way you're living now is false. So we can announce that to people right now. It's almost a hidden secret. It's not the truth when we think we can go home and just sit back and relax and spend our money. That's what the world out there wants us to do. That's what the banking community wants us to do. Because when we spend money, it forces us to go back to work. And our lifestyle depends on that flow of money that we can go and re-earn. What happens if that gets cut off? How many families are devastated when they lose their jobs, from CEOs all the way down through? A CEO, a doer, probably go out and find another job a lot faster. But if we don't have some way to account for what we've done through life, we haven't let all this money pass through our hands. We have some of it. We have it in the background working for us, so that there's going to be a day when our family doesn't have to go out and employ ourselves. We have enough money out there working for us, producing money, that we become financially independent.
Yeah. And you can do that with the life insurance contract. You don't have to go be a successful real estate developer or an entrepreneur that owns self-storage or mobile homes or the next thing or the next thing, or there's so many different asset classes. I'm just most familiar with real estate. It fits hand in glove with real estate. And there are a lot of very successful real estate investors and entrepreneurs that use private banking strategies, as we're discussing. It's infinite in the application. You can apply it in any business asset class.
It really is. And, a thought came to mind with real estate. I've got some friends who are really good real estate agents. And once they learn that if they help their clients establish this family banking strategy, that the mortgages that they just set them up in and the new home they set them up in, those new families can have those mortgages paid and owned in a 5-year period of time on the average. Some take a little bit longer, some take a little less, and that gives them a resell. So everybody seems to really benefit from this strategy. So we've got a lot of things we've generalized today, and we go into really deep dives in our past podcasts. But folks, this family banking concept and the flow of money is really critical, and it needs to be part of your lives. You need to learn and implement the principles that will make you successful monetarily. We talk about things like the 10% rule, never spend principal, work off of a well-defined plan. We all know we're supposed to do that, but we don't. Nelson Nash gives us 5 other laws or 5 other rules that we need to comply by. We conquer those, we win by default. We do all of this stuff. You can fail. You can go out and spread your wings and you can fail, but you won't fail financially. You'll be able to get right back up and keep going.
That's some of the things we're talking about, is using the capitalization of your own bank, which you funded your policy with. It's serving as collateral. It's growing tax-free, uninterrupted, but the liquidity and the leverage is what you're just describing. And even if you have a properly leveraged swing at the bat and you fail, you're not going to fail completely, because you've set up a system that protects you. And it's a long-term system, not a get-rich next year system.
You have money out there working for you, bringing money in from all different, sources that you control. Banks never lose money. They always get the money back because of collateral. It's so simple. All we have to do is put that strategy in our life and we'll get the money back too.
Well, it's a great segue to talk a little bit about another core component, which you've already identified. One of the ways that it works and makes the life insurance contract so valuable is because it is a compounding engine. It's the compounding growth that allows you to count on the liquidity, count on the 6 to 7% annualized return year over year. Those things are set. And when you operate within the parameters and the structures that are there, that compounding engine is one that guarantees your cash values, continues to provide dividends on your contract that are reinvested, and that compounding accelerates growth.
You see, Seth, you just said it. I call it the goosebump factor. You learn the banking strategy, you learn what money does. And the contracts we talk about, these contracts that we love, they're almost miracles. They've been around forever, and they used to be better than they are today, but today they're miracles. They guarantee. They're the best of everything you could name in a list that you wanted in a perfect investment. These have it. They're safe. They're liquid. They're a way to get it and put it back and not put it back. There's all kinds of things. So you combine banking and you have a money warehouse into these contracts, and you get enough money in these money contracts. Now you're financing your mortgages, college education, the cars, everything within your family. And pretty soon that grows. And pretty soon you start going into, okay, folks, we have to keep the money in the family. Where do we buy our cars? Well, we buy them at other dealerships. No, we've got enough money to go buy that dealership now. In one generation, you can get to that point. Now everybody buys the cars at that. Now look at all the other cars that are being bought. The grocery stores, the restaurants are all things that just snowball. It's that last doubling that counts in every lifetime or everything else. That last doubling is responsible for 50% of the total. Okay. And if we miss one, if we start late, we miss a last doubling. Okay, so procrastination also is part of this in the long-term game. Doesn't matter where we start. We can start dirt poor. We can start from bankruptcy. And you go forward, and in one generation, you're handing to your posterity millions of dollars inside contracts that are safe, that can't be affected by taxes, can't be affected by our economy or anything else. Guaranteed to grow. They're going to grow year in and year out. They can't minus anything out of those accounts. When profits go in, they're just miracle contracts. When the money goes up, it can never go down. That's on the list. These contracts do that.
No risk, no market correlation.
I think that gives us a great explanation of what a family bank is and why people want that.
Yeah, and when they begin to really see and the light bulbs come on with these principles that we're describing, where they have stable returns guaranteed year over year, compounding in a tax-free system, no market risk, no having to pull levers, no having to deal with other issues that affect profitability, and being able to use the money effectively in multiple places at the same time while it grows in multiple places is unmatchable. You just can't match that. So, folks, one of the things that we have tried to help educate people with is with secrets that the banks actually don't want you to know. And so Vance and I authored a book called How to Grow Rich with the Secrets Banks Don't Want You to Know. And we offer that to you as a gift when you visit our website in exchange for your name and email information. And that's a very important thing. If you like this content, you like our podcast, you like the information that's on our website, schedule an exploratory call with Vance. And that's going to come to you through the emails that you sign up for on our website at privatebankingstrategies.com. And you'll also get the free book that we've authored with you in mind that gives you secrets and tells you about compounding interest and where the most money is made in that curve and other little secrets that may red pill you into understanding why you need to take the banking equation back in your own life. So privatebankingstrategies.com, get our free book. If you're liking what you hear, schedule a call with Vance and put this into practice for you and your family. There won't be a regret in 30 years when your children or grandchildren are kissing your picture, I like to say. So Vance, any concluding remarks with this podcast?
No, I think that's good. I think we'll be going into deeper things here in the future, really talking about it. So we want you to absorb what you can, do yourself a favor, learn more about this, get the books, download what we've got on our website. We'll even set you up to take this strategy for a test drive.
Absolutely. Show people how it will work for you and your family with your numbers. And like he said, this will work for people who are so-called dirt poor, if you live within your means, or it works for the ultra wealthy. And there is no one it won't work for if you don't spend more than you make and you follow these principles. It works for everyone. And it will accelerate your family's wealth curve greater than anything that's stable and solid and helps them to actually steward what you're handing them. It's not a lottery ticket. It's a strategy.
It is.
All right. Thanks, folks. We'll see you on the next one. Thanks for joining us.
Bye for now.
Did that story feel like it was about you? Do you feel you should be making more progress toward your financial goals? Do you feel stuck? Let us help you get unstuck. Are you ready to take action and get your own private bank? Please visit us at www.privatebankingstrategies.com.
Thank you for listening to the Private Banking Strategies Podcast. Click the subscribe button below to be notified when new episodes become available.